What's up? My name is Eric Butler. This channel is called Report and Opine. I am back, and from CBS News Bay Area, San Francisco's cleanup of troubled Tenderloin district faced with overwhelming challenges. Now, this has obviously become a completely broken record. It's been happening for decades where somebody says, we're going to clean up the Tenderloin and fix the homelessness. It's never going to happen. These people are just going to keep scamming money, asking for state funding, federal funding, whatever the case might be. There's also that clip, that old viral clip of Gavin Newsom from 2008 or 2009, I believe, pretending that he was going to eradicate homelessness. And obviously, it has only gotten worse, exponentially worse, since he made those remarks. But let's see what challenges the Tenderloin is facing now and how different they are from what it's been in years past.
Hey, we continue our look at San Francisco's effort to take control of the years-long crisis.
Years long. Okay, so at least he's honest there.
In the Tenderloin. The emergency declared by Mayor London Breed in 2021 was supposed to be a full-court press against homelessness and drug problems, and everyone agreed had spun out of control. Wilson Walker continues our update on where things stand now with a look at how the city is trying to deliver help to those on the street.
And this is the same neighborhood where London Breed, as he said, declared a state of emergency. And you can watch, I believe it was Sav, shout out Savannah Hernandez, who went into the Tenderloin district, which is incredibly dangerous. I had some dope dealers throwing rocks in my car, but of course, that's a different story, and I digress. And she goes to, Savannah that is, she goes to a needle exchange, and I guess an activist, a former junkie who seems to be 100% clean, actually got out of it. But they go and they get a clean needle kit and those little rubber bands and little pieces of foil. And then the guy says, hey, I want to kick the habit. Can you show me a place where I can maybe get to a meeting in NA or something like that? And they're like, oh, we don't know about that, but we can give you a clean needle. So that's part of your problem there, right? Because obviously there's some backdoor deals being cut. Something's happening. And like I said, many years ago, I believe that some of these California politicians have a stake in the drug trade. And that's why they give you free needles. That's why they love these sanctuary cities, safe injection sites. But when you ask, is there an NA meeting I can get to? They're like, I don't know anything about that.
Well, helping the Tenderloin was always going to depend on helping those who we see on the streets every day, the homeless, those struggling with addiction in the midst of the opioid crisis. Saving the neighborhood means finding answers for each person out there.
There's no saving. It's done. It's over. You'd have to start fresh from scratch. There's no saving it. You can't, I mean, I've used this analogy before. It's quite obvious. I'm not the first one to use it. It's not rocket science. But you can't put a broken glass back together. You have to throw it away. You're going to cut yourself. You're going to hurt yourself trying to put this back together. And that's what's going to happen. Now, of course, the politicians aren't going to hurt themselves. They're only going to make money. But the people who actually have to live there, who aren't on dope, are going to be hurt by this every single time.
When any single case can be a long, complex endeavor.
There's more work than we can handle out here. I just had a woman come and tell me that a tent moved from one corner to another, and we have to explain to people that right now we've got rules we have to work with.
Surrounded by frustrated residents and fed-up business owners, Mark Meza is taking on a challenge some might think impossible. Working for the city's Department of Emergency Management, he is the Tenderloin Streets Operation Manager, and he sees a lot of these streets.
They're going to go to O'Farrell. Do a lot of walking, yeah, probably about 50 miles a week.
And all of the walking reflects another shift in city strategy, this one driven by the December closure of what debuted as the Tenderloin Linkage Center.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, right? They were supposed to help you, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was one of those safe injection sites. Of course, they were going to call it something else. You know how they do constantly with the Democrat dystopian doublespeak euphemisms. So it's basically a place where you can go get high on dope, but they're going to call it like Outreach Community Center for Substance Abusers or something stupid like that.
Once the Tenderloin Center closed, we had to focus 100% on bringing those services to the street. So that's when we divided the neighborhood into 4 different areas, and every day we work that area. We go through 7 days a week. HSH, DPH, DPW, we clean up.
Okay, DPW. Let's remember that the former Department of Public Works head, Mohammed Nuru, is, I believe, in jail on bribery and wire fraud, who, of course, used to date the mayor. So if you think for one split second they cleaned that up and all of those people are on the level, I think you'd be wrong.
We offer to get people into shelter. We do wellness checks. If somebody has somewhere to live already, or if they're already sheltered, we try to get them back there.
It is a slow, day-by-day, case-by-case process that often means revisiting the same people in the same tents for months, with occasional breakthroughs.
Oh yeah, we had somebody who it was a couple, and we had a couple of navigation center beds down in the Bayview.
But then there is the scale of the challenge in a city with an unsheltered homeless population of about 4,400.
We can't keep up. We can't keep up. There's so much need out here and not enough of us to help. Like, nobody should have to live like this, and nobody should have to walk through this. You know, this pathway right here, kids take to the playground up the street. And I mean, everybody out here doesn't want to be out here.
They do want to be out there. I'm not going to say every single one of them want to be out there, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you can fact check this, that even in San Francisco, even in California right now, when they give you some sort of free housing, some tiny house or something, they are going to attempt to make sure you don't do drugs. And that alone is going to keep a lot of people away from wanting to get off the street because they'd rather do the drugs, right? Because they can get some weirdo little stipend, they can get their free needles. I mean, the city's basically giving them every single thing except for the dope itself, right? So obviously they don't want to stay in a shelter where they're going to have to prove that they've been clean for even a day.
Occasionally, if the police would catch you nodding out someplace or something, they would take you to a navigation center.
Abe has been in San Francisco for about 10 years, almost all of it on the street. He says he is seeing more offers for help.
They just started going out to people for COVID.
So you're noticing more outreach.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, they just need to reach out to us more. Just help us more. It's like, bro, you can help yourself. You're choosing not to, and they are using you as a wedge to, line their pockets. But they're trying to pretend like they just, I'm seeing more outreach and we need more outreach. No, bro, you don't. Why is this not happening in every single city? Is because they allow it to happen, right? That's why you see guys kicking down, climbing up on top of streetlights, kicking it, trying to destroy it, high on meth or whatever they're doing. Who knows what's actually happening, what level of dope that these people are on. But they kind of want to make it seem like we just need a little bit more outreach. It's like, dude, you guys are always so demanding. Same thing with the LGBTQ mafia. It's like they just always need, why do you even care? And just let us live. Meanwhile, they're having parades and days of visibility every single month. And it's just like, dude, you guys put it in our face. And then you get mad when somebody has an opinion that you don't like. Like these guys, they live on the street. They're sleeping in a pile of needles. And then just say, well, the city's not doing enough. No, bro, it's you. It's always you guys.
So why is he still on the street? Well, he says it comes down to the available options, and that is something Meza hears just about every day.
This group is, we experience a lot where they would go inside if they were eligible for what they want. They want hotel rooms, and they don't meet the eligibility requirements. So,
what's the eligibility requirements, Maza?
They want to stay out here.
It's totally bullshit. They go up and they want you to throw away all your personal property.
Yep, there you go. They just need to give us a house and let us bring all of our dope and paraphernalia and disgusting rats and pets and roaches and all that stuff. They just need to let us do it. It's BS that they're not, that I'm not eligible for this. Give me a break, bro.
And drop everything and go with them and go to a dorm where they're just stacking. It's like a mental house in there.
Oh yeah, a wise man once said, beggars can't be choosers. So if you want the house that they're going to provide, but then you're mad that they don't want you to bring all your disgusting crap in there, too bad, bro.
And I can't blame people for not wanting to go into a congregate shelter. That's their decision.
And while many parts of this are complicated, like finding enough housing for everyone, other parts are more straightforward.
Many people won't go inside because this is where they get their drugs.
Oh my word, this is what we're dealing with. These are the people that just need a little bit more outreach. Do you think that this guy right here is going to, take you up on an offer to kick the habit and get into a tiny house? Absolutely not.
And their sickness has kept them to where they're not making decisions that you or I would think are the right ones. That's why they're out here, and that's why we keep coming back and trying to catch them at the right time when they're ready to do something different.
All of the effort.
So this guy spends his days chasing these dope fiends around, maybe in a moment of sobriety, to get them to go into a shelter. Yeah, that's gonna work. It's not rocket science, bro. You don't have to be a politician, you don't have to be a lawyer, a doctor, a cop to realize that none of this is going to work, but they don't want it to work because they are profiting from the demise, just like we see in New York. And as we know, New York and California are going to operate from the same corruption playbook at every single opportunity. I mean, they have to. It's mandatory. It's part of the control plot plan, right? So they hollow out the middle class. Meanwhile, they also hollow out the middle ground of any discussion, right? If you're not with us, you're against us, right? You're an extremist. It happens with every single thing. Get rid of any sensibility, get rid of any, common sense, and just say, those people who don't like this are extremists. If you're not with us, then you're an extremist, and we need to, get more money for these dope fiends to shoot up at a government, funded facility. I mean, it's an absolute mess, quite literally, when you see this guy pooping on the sidewalk.
Is translating into some numbers. The city's been placing as many as 300 people, sometimes more, into some type of housing every month. Those numbers are quite a bit higher than in years past, but not all of the people placed into housing end up staying there.
We've made some progress, but here's the problem, is that what happens out on the street and what keeps people safe gets them kicked out of housing. If you want to stay out here, you need to be scary. You need to be able to yell at people. You need to be loud to keep people away from you. And hoarding and cluttering disorders are a real thing. So unless we're working on that out here on the street, when people go indoors, the things that kept them safe out here get them right back out on the street.
You have a lot of people churning through housing?
100%.
But we'll go check and see who's like up there and see what we have available.
Cool, thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
So this work goes on day after day, rain or shine, as the city tries to chip away at this challenge, and for exhausted neighbors and business owners.
I just want people to see how much work is going on out here and how hard people are trying. The Tenderloin's going to be the Tenderloin, but this is unacceptable.
So a lot of churn, a lot of people bouncing out of housing, but as you heard, a lot of people going into housing. So is it making a difference? Well, that is hard to know. We do our real...
No, the answer is no, because if it was making a difference, you would just say it's making a difference, but it's not. So you're going to walk around it, you're going to beat around the bush and pretend like it's working when it's obviously not. This is a decades-old scam.
Point-in-time homeless count in San Francisco every 2 years, like everyone else. The last one was in February of 2022, so it's going to be a while before we get a real metric of what is going on out there. It is going to take time. Now, the other part of this, remember, December 2021, when the mayor announced this whole initiative, it was her language around law enforcement that got a lot of attention and a lot of debate. But there never really was a massive mobilization of police in the Tenderloin until maybe now, depending on what you think is large.
Yeah, okay, so this is a tale as old as time. Obviously, nothing's going to change for the better, just like we see in New York. But they're just going to keep lining their pockets with more funding and more programs. It's not going to work because they don't want it to work. If anybody were able to break through the corruption there, maybe something can change. And unfortunately, maybe this is a glass half empty take, but I just don't see it happening, at least not in the next decade or so, if we're lucky. But thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe.